Hello, I'm Michael Horn from What's In Group, and today I'm lucky enough to be talking to Charlie from, well, I'm going to let him explain where he's from because he sorts out our websites and all the technical stuff. Charlie, thanks for spending some time with me today.
No problem at all. So I'm Charlie. I'm the technical executive of What's In. So I manage all the internal and client websites, designing them, creating them, and then just maintaining them once they're created and they're live.
But you've been really good because you've been looking at what we do on our directories, on our websites, and we set off having one directory on one website in each area. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. So we started off with each location that we go to. So at the moment, Herefordshire, Worcestershire, Gloucestershire, etc. Each one having a separate website where people can go and find the directory, business showroom, so on and so forth. And then, yeah, basically managing the SEO from there. So
SEO means?
Search engine optimization. So getting the website the highest up the Google search, depending on what keyword is searched. So for like what's in Herefordshire, the keyword would be what's in Herefordshire, and then trying to get the website as high up when when someone types in that key phrase.
So that's what you do. You're a technical guy, aren't you? You can tell I'm starting to put the brakes on you now a little bit before you start going off talking about all these technical bits. Because remember, the majority of people that are going to be watching us today are going to be like me. We're not going to be capable of holding a technical conversation with you. So keeping it simple, what you do then is you look at what our websites are doing, and you've now joined them together, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've on Monday I finished, Sunday afternoon, finished putting all the directories into one website. So it basically means that people, consumers, businesses, whoever, can just go to one website and find all the businesses for all our locations.
Good.
So rather than having to go, if they want a Herefordshire business, go to the Herefordshire website, they can just go to the one website and find everything from Oxford to Hereford and to any other places we go in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're expanding very quickly, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah.
So I bet that's been a nightmare for you to keep up with, hasn't it?
With the new websites, it's not as hard as you think, in the sense of when we do a website, when we're doing the separate websites, it was just a copy and paste.
Right.
It was basically a copy and paste and then change the color scheme and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as hard, but obviously having it in one place is a lot easier.
Yeah.
It saves me a lot of time when we decide to move to a new place and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, good. So then with our clients, people that come on our directory, with them interacting with us through our own servers, that's going to increase their SEO, search engine optimization, isn't it?
So if they come on the directory, you obviously get a link to, if they've already got a website, they'll get a link, we'll link from the directory back to their website, which should, over time, get them higher up the search engine, depending on what their keywords they focus on are.
And depending on how much they're interacting with us.
Yeah, so how many links there is between them. So if they come on the business showroom, that increases it again. If they come on the directory, increases it.
Good.
And the more we just, basically, the more the links stay there, and over time they just go up the Google search, basically.
Good. So the more activity we have with them and with them with us, the better.
Yep.
So I think I know the answer to this, but it's fatal to ask a question without knowing the answer. Is it good, yes or no, to have videos on a website?
Of course. At the end of the day, if you have lots of information that is just written information, people might get bored, not want to read everything, but instead people prefer like watching videos. Yeah. So having a video on can give you information in a different way. So rather than having to read through a whole page of information, they can watch a video that you've made recorded, talking about what the company does, why they should join with the company and stuff like that.
Good.
So, yeah.
So when people join us on our directories, we create a teardrop. Yep. And that teardrop drops on a map, and that map can be found on the directories, and it can also be found on the main homepage. Is that right?
It's not on the homepage. There's a menu at the top for business directory. The homepage at the moment for the hub basically shows you what locations. So there's another map of the whole of the UK, and you can find what locations there are and go with links to all our socials. That basically we're still advertising the directory socials wise as individual places.
Yeah.
So it basically has all the links to that. The business directory then is on a separate page.
Good. Okay. So when people are having difficulties with their websites, then really they need to be looking at content. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. So keeping content up to date and making sure it's relevant to what you do. And you don't want to be like a payroll company and have stuff about cars or whatever, for example.
Okay.
You need to keep that relevant. You need to keep it up to date. So if you are a payroll company, if the government change a regulation or something, then updating your content is probably the best idea, because otherwise you're giving people the wrong information.
So social media seems to have taken over our day-to-day lives, because we're all of us on our mobile devices, aren't we? Does that mean that websites are any less important than they were before?
I wouldn't say less important. I say they're used for a different thing. Social media tends to be like a more informal way of engaging with potential clients, potential customers, whereas a website is more formal. So you can put more formal information on. You can have not technical information, but you could have information about more to do with like the business and like frequently asked questions and basically services that you offer. Whereas the social media may be like a video of like a day in the life or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit of a more formal way of doing it.
I saw you looking at me then when you said a day in the life. So do you think a video of me, a day in the life of me, would be a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends what day.
Yeah, well, it depends what kind of a day. But seriously though, people are using social media to generate friends, but the websites are where people go out to check the real information about those people.
Yeah, so
about what the business does.
So if you're searching for I'll just keep using the payroll company as an example.
Let's use something else. Let's say if we were, I don't know, a holiday company, for example.
Then say you're a travel company in Hereford, then people are going to look for travel in Hereford in like a Google search. So obviously having a website on there allows people to look through the pages and find the one that they want to use, whereas it might not bring up on a Google search or social media. It's more likely to bring up a website.
And so your LinkedIn and your Facebook and your other social media sites
can connect to it basically.
Yeah. And so they link all up together.
Yeah, they'll interlink. So you could maybe say do a LinkedIn post, a Facebook post about a certain subject, and then link to one of the pages that has relevant information on your website, and vice versa. So you'll have social links on the website. So when I create websites, I always make sure that on the website you can get to the company's socials, because obviously that's where a lot of people update their socials more regularly. They put regular posts out, whereas on a website, people tend to be not scared, but they think it's more technical than it really is. If you want to update something, it's not actually, if you're using the right software, it's not actually as hard as you think it is.
But people can come here and ask you.
Oh yeah, of course.
So that makes it easy.
Yeah, so I'll make them a website from scratch. If they've got one that they need redesigning, then we can redesign it and we can go through that process.
And that hooks it up with all their social media platforms, keeps it all together, communicating together, and that helps with their SEO.
Yep.
So that's good. Now, we all of us wander around with our mobile devices, don't we, nowadays? Look at me doing it. This is what I do. So there's a difference, isn't there, between a mobile device and a laptop computer in an office, as far as websites are concerned.
So a lot of older websites, or websites that maybe haven't been updated regularly, they're not responsive for the modern day. So maybe they were built 3, 4, 5 years ago, and they were built to be viewed on a computer, on a laptop. That it looks completely different, because obviously the screen size is a lot different. Obviously, if you hold a phone up to a laptop screen, the size is hugely different. Yeah. So you need to make sure that your websites are responsive, in the sense that if you access the website on a phone, that it shrinks the size down, and then when you go back to a laptop, it increases it again. Yeah. If you don't, then there'll be a lot of, on a phone, there might be a lot of scrolling through trying to find the information, whereas on a laptop it might look perfectly fine. So people would get a little bit frustrated, won't they, with that? Yeah, and most people will then click off. Yeah. They don't want to deal with having to have too much, have to wait or scroll through loads.
So Charlie, it's a little bit more technical, isn't it, than just do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's got to be done right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so your social medias, you can do those yourself. I do a lot of that myself, but there's no way on this planet that I would start trying to build my own website or update it or anything like that. So, so the advice then, if you've got a message to give to everybody that's watching this live stream, what's your message?
Basically, make sure that your website is always up to date. Make sure if it isn't, it's responsive, like I was just talking about, because of how much people use phones, tablets, so on. And then just make sure that you're keeping updating the content and making sure that the information is correct. Speed is obviously a good thing as well on the website. If it's too slow to load, then people will just click off as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
No problem.
I know I ask you lots of questions throughout the day, and you always look after me and my clients very well indeed. But I'm grateful. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.